Alright, what is up you guys? It is Vendico coming at you with another video for a series I haven't done in a little bit, the Dark History series. Today we're going to be talking about Jack the Ripper. Basically the history of it, some speculation behind it, and yeah, let's do this. According to some researchers, the always morbidly fascinating Jack the Ripper was a member of the British family, royal family. Although even the number of murderers attributable to the infamous Jack the Ripper is debated, the count runs as high as 15. There is a general consensus that the series of slayings began in Whitechapel district of London's East End with the murder of Mary Ann Nicholas on the night of August 31st, 1888, and ended 9 weeks later with the gruesome slaughter of Mary Jeanette Kelly. Mary Ann Nicholas was found lying across a gutter, repeatedly slashed by someone with a long-handled knife, and a general knowledge of anatomy. A week later, Annie Chapman was found in her backyard. Her head was nearly severed. A few nights later, the Ripper was interrupted in his attack on a local celebrity known as Long Liz by a man who drove a pony cart into the yard. The pony shade at the flaying figure of Jack, and the driver jumped down from his seat to lift the woman's head. Blood poured from an open wound in her throat, and it was evident that she was beyond any help. Apparently, the intrusion so annoyed the Ripper that within an hour he lured Catherine Eddowes into a lonely alley where he could indulge his perverse and deadly passions at his leisure. Jack extracted her left kidney and certain other organs, and then wiped his hand and knife on her apron. London newspapers ran countless stories speculating the Ripper's identity. Perhaps he was a demonic butcher, a Polish Jew, an American sailor, a Russian doctor, or one of the host of other suspects. Anyone, it seemed, so long as he was not British or English. Jack, who was obviously following his press quite carefully and enjoying every inch of ink in the papers, countered it with a famous quatrain he sent to the Times. I am not a butcher, I am not a Yid, nor yet a foreign skipper, but I am your own true loving friend. Yours truly, Jack the Ripper. The Ripper corresponded with Scotland Yard as well as the London Press to a persistent police officer whose investigation was evidently known to the Ripper. He sent part of a human kidney. I have fried and eaten the other part, he said in an accompanying note. Jeanette Kelly was the only victim killed indoors. She had been heard singing "Sweet Violets." Excuse the dog. She has tranquilizers, so she's kind of sensitive. Sweet Violets during the evening and seemed to have been in high spirits. Her horribly mutilated corpse was discovered the next morning by a passerby who could look directly into her ground-level apartment. Sir Mavell MacNaughton, a Scotland Yard official, reported that the Ripper must have spent at least 2 hours over his hellish work. A fire was burning low in the room, but neither a stove nor gas was there. The madman made a bonfire of some old newspapers in his victim's clothes, and it was dim, and by this dim, irreligious light, a scene was enacted which nothing witnessed by Dante. He, in his visit of infernal regions, could not be surpassed. The only possible description we have of Jack the Ripper came by someone who saw Jeanette Kelly in the company of a man about 35 years old, 5'6" inches tall, of a dark complexion with dark mustache turned up at the ends. Abruptly, the murder ceased, but theories about how the morbidly romanticized Ripper could continue to afford challenges from amateur detectives at local pubs and painstakingly police work for tough-minded Scotland Yard inspectors. Someone with a knowledge of surgery always ranked first in theoretical lists of suspects. The second favorite was a midwife who both familiarity with her victims and a knowledge of elementary surgery. A journalist reported the death of a diabolical doctor in Buenos Aires who allegedly made a deathbed confession that he had been Jack the Ripper, but his claim was impossible to document. The notorious Dr. Neil Crim, convicted of poisoning 4 women, shouted, "I am Jack," just as the executioner pulled the lever on the hangman's platform and dropped the doctor at the end of his rope. Eager devotees of Dr. Cream's solution to the Ripper legend were not disappointed when their investigation revealed that Cream had been in Juliet Prison in Illinois throughout the period of the East End murderers. The best-selling crime writer Patricia Cornwell spent a great deal of money attempting to prove her theory that Jack the Ripper was painter Walter Sickert, an artist whose moody and unsettling paintings generally feature Irish music halls entertainer and scantily clad women of the night. Alistair Smith, the director of Ministry of Manchester Whitworth Art Gallery, pronounces Cornwell's theory as presented in her portrait of the killer, Jack Ripper, case closed, 2002. Utter nonsense, and points out at the art historian Matthew Sturgis discredited Cornwell's research in his own critically acclaimed Sickert biography. Other recent theories about Jack's identity have included H.R.H. Prince Albert Victor, Duke of Clarence, the grandson of Queen Victoria, or Prince Eddie, as he was known. He was the son of Prince Albert Edward, later King Edward VII, and Princess Alexandra. Prince Albert, or Bertie, was a bit of rogue, involved in a number of scandals that had to be hushed up by the palace. On the other hand, Alexandra was much like Prince Diana, respected for her public works, and was much loved by the people. Rumors that Eddie was dull, even mentally challenged, began when he was a child. The boy was also partially deaf. Prince Eddie was named Duke of Clarence in 1891, and would likely have been the King of England if he had not died in influenza epidemic of 1891 through 1892. At the time of his death, he was engaged to Princess Mary of Teck, who did become Queen Mary. Although people gossip about Eddie's bizarre lifestyle, there were no rumors linking him to awful murders committed by Jack the Ripper during his lifetime. It was not until 1962 that Philippe Julien, author of Edouard VII, published the allegation that Eddie and the Duke of Bedford had been responsible for the Ripper slayings. In 1970, Dr. Thomas Stowell created a sensation that he published an article in Criminologist claiming that Eddie, driven mad by syphilis, committed the murders. In this theory, the royal family was fully aware that Eddie was the Ripper, but did nothing until the double murders of Long Liz and Catherine Eddowes on the same night. Eddie was then bundled off to a private mental hospital, but he escaped and committed the gruesome murder of Jeanette Kelly. Eddie's terrible skill with a knife, so Stowell's theory goes, came from his experience as dressing deer on the hunt. Once again, the royal family had Eddie quietly confined in a mental hospital when he resided until he died of syphilis attacking his brain. Stowell's conspiracy theory about Prince Jack the Ripper reads convincingly and terrifyingly to refute some claims. Royal records were released that show Prince Eddie was not even in London on the important murder dates. The forensic psychiatric David Abrahamson profiled Jack the Ripper and concluded that Prince Eddie was an accomplice in the murders. Other Ripper theories touching on the royal family have involved Queen Victoria, a secret wife of Eddie's, and elaborate Freemason rituals. Like many other conspiracies that develop a life on their own, that Prince Eddie the Ripper will no doubt continue to add on many branches to the main trunk. That is it for today, guys. Hope you have a good day and be good to your family and your friends. Goodbye.